So you're a casual solo or duo that doesn't want to grind endlessly for upkeep. You've got a nice little bit of loot and you want a safe and secure location to store it, even when you're not online. You don't need anything fancy, you just want something simple and strong. I present to you, the Haunted House. The Haunted House is a strong and incredibly simple solo-duo bunker base that keeps your entire main loot room beneath a sturdy HQM bunker. This base is as compact as it gets. We've got a high visibility airlock, an easily maneuverable second floor living space with hyper efficient storage, a lookout point leading up to the roof, ramps on top to give us angles around and outside the base, a simple and easy to use bunker mechanic, and a well-guarded chute that leads into our core where every inch of space is maxed out with storage. This base has everything you need to live out a comfortable, low-key wipe on a shoestring budget. With a final build cost and upkeep this low, even the most casual players can get this base up without endless farming or grinding. So let's take a tour of the base. Really quick before the tour, this base was built live over at twitch.tv/templetaps. The streams have been a ton of fun, and I'd love it if you came by and dropped me a follow. Also, make sure to join the Discord. It's the easiest place to get a hold of me for help or just to hang out. We got a great little community. There's an economy system, exclusive subscriber roles, and even a private sub-channel where you can have the chance to play a wipe with me on stream. Come say hi. Heading up one of our airlock stairwells, we enter the front door and are immediately greeted with our high visibility airlock. It allows us to easily check for door campers and look at the surrounding area. 3 furnaces serve as a jump up to the second floor. Turning around, we see our lookout tower jump up that holds our repair bench, a nice assortment of storage, and provides excellent visibility over our entrance and deep outside. It also takes us to the roof, where we see an assortment of staggered roof ramps shield us from ground fire while still allowing us to shoot down below and around the base. Heading back inside, we enter our second floor living space, which houses our research table, a locker, a ton of efficient storage, and of course, our bunker entrance. The bunker is super easy to open. Simply place a twig roof ramp in the airlock like so, and the HQM floor tile will disappear. You can leave the twig roof ramp or remove it, it doesn't matter. When you're ready to go offline, all you have to do is replace the floor tile and you're good to go. Coming down our bunker chute, we see that a nicely placed shotgun trap makes a door raid extra annoying, and as we enter inside, we're greeted by a plethora of additional storage, another locker, our tier 3 bench, and of course, our TC. And that pretty much makes up the base. Now that you've seen it, let's learn how to build it. In case you're the type of player that takes their sweet time progressing, I'll be showing you this base build in 3 stages. The starter, the expanded starter, and the final build. Realistically, a lot of players will probably accrue resources fast enough to skip straight to the final build, so if you want to do that, go ahead. In order to get our starter down, we'll start with 2 square foundations like so. The left one gets closed in except the side, and then the right one gets 2 walls here. A single door frame goes in the only empty slot. Place down a single door to make yourself safe, and then roofs on top to close it all in. Then we can create a temporary airlock by placing a double door facing towards us in this space. When this double door is open, and you open your front door, if somebody manages to kill you, you don't immediately lose your base. They can't squeeze through this space easily, so you may have a chance to save your base. Place your TC on the same side of the base as the single door, making sure that it's flush against both walls. This is important. With our starter down, we can get out there and start the grind. All of our basic progressional deployables can fit in this space for the time being, but this won't be their permanent location. Eventually this space will be a little too cramped and you're going to want to expand, so let's move on to the expanded starter. Empty out your TC room, and then come up behind it. Place a twig triangle foundation here, with a half wall next to it, and a floor tile above it. This will allow us to come back inside and place this triangle floor tile inside of our TC room for extra storage. Then you can come back outside and demolish the buildup. With this shelf placed, we can place 2 large boxes for now. Make sure that they're flush against the back wall. This is very important because otherwise we won't be able to get the rest of the loot room to place later on. One goes down there, and another one up here. With a bit of extra storage in our TC room, we can place down all of our early game progressional items again. There's a lot more space for them now. The second portion of making the expanded starter is to move upwards. We're going to create a triangle foundation in front of our single door here and put a wall on either side. Make sure that the soft side faces towards the single door. In order to get up and down the jump up, we're going to need to place a furnace right at the back of this triangle tile. Place a triangle floor frame above your jump up here. This is extremely important because it'll prevent our bunker from getting messed up later. Now we can create a classic half-shelf elevator. Place a wall on either side of the triangle jump up chute, and then a twig half wall here, and a floor tile above it. Demolish the twig, and then cap it off with a triangle floor tile, and a double door opening outwards. Now our base is a whole lot safer, and nobody can easily go deep by killing us when we open our final door. But we do need a way up. To this end, temporarily, we're just going to make a twig spiral staircase. We're going to do so on the same side as our jump up. Place a triangle foundation here, and then a twig spiral staircase like so. We won't have to keep this staircase for long, but it'll help us get up and down until we decide to move on to the final base. As soon as you have a tier 2 workbench and the necessary blueprints, you can move on to the final stage of the build. Come down inside and pick everything up for the last time. Remove this double door, and then deploy your tier 2 workbench. Once the tier 2 workbench is deployed, turn over towards this wall frame and upgrade it to sheet metal. This is necessary for all of our boxes to place correctly in the TC room. Deploy your garage door, and then we can get to work outfitting the main loot room. Start by placing a large box on the right. It's important that it's as far back as possible and touching the right side wall. If it's not, you won't be able to place the next box afterwards. Provided that you are as far back as possible, you can see that there won't be a gap on the right side wall here. If that's the case, this large box should be able to place so far back that it actually touches against the TC. Hop up on top of the shelf and place these two small boxes as far away from you as possible. Now turn around so you're facing the opposite end of the shelf, and climb on top of it so you're hanging just off the edge. Then place this large box against the wall opposite you. With all the large boxes out of the way, place this small box as far on the tip of the shelf as possible to allow for one more to squeeze in between everything else. And that makes up your main loot room. As you can see, it's still quite easy to access the large box in the back. Come around next to the tier 2 workbench and place this barbecue as close to the main loot room as possible. If it isn't flush, you won't be able to place the tier 3 workbench later. A small box can fit underneath of it. Turn around and place your locker right next to the single door like so. You may have to pick it up later when you place your tier 3 workbench. 2 sleeping bags can be placed neatly in the empty space just in front of the door, and that makes up the core. At this point in the video, I'm going to be building everything at its final level of material upgrade. In-game, you'll have to upgrade things as materials become available. If there's something that needs to be upgraded at a specific time, I'll note it. Everything that you see in the base right now can be upgraded at any time because you can reach it from inside, so feel free to do so at your leisure. Every single wall surrounding the 2x1 should be high quality metal, except this wall where the TC lays against. It can be sheet metal. All of the roofs should be armored, and all of the foundations should be armored as well. The bottom walls of the jump up should be armored, as well as the foundation, but the top walls of the jump up can be left sheet metal, as well as the roof. With the core finished up, there's only one other thing we need to do before we can build out the entire base, and that's incorporate the bunker. This is the most challenging part of the build, but you only have to do it once, and if you follow the steps carefully, it isn't that difficult. Remove your spiral staircasing, and then place one triangle in between these two, a square against it, and one more triangle on the side of that square. Then remove the triangle and square. Now we're going to build out in a straight line away from the base with triangles, counting the sides of the triangles. So this is one side. Alright, we're going to build out so that we have 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides, 5 sides, 6 sides, 7 sides, and 8 sides. You want 8 sides of the triangles in total. On the very last one, build a square foundation, and then turn towards the base and build back with squares. It's important that you're facing the base when you do this, not a different direction. When you reach the last square space, remove everything except the square that you're standing on. Turn back towards the base, and place one more foundation in that empty space there. Now remove the one before it. And the hard part is over. Place 2 sheet metal half walls here. Eventually the foundation should be upgraded to armored. This is slightly disconnected from the rest of the base, so it doesn't actually share stability with the walls next to it. This is what allows the bunker to function. Now we need to place our triangle floor tile that's going to hold up the bunker. It's extremely important that we do not place this tile against the main base. It has to be placed against the half wall here. The easiest way to do this is to look to the top right of the half wall and pull your cursor in until it's placeable. Just like that. If you've done it correctly, you should be around 22% stability on that tile, and the bunker should be placeable like so. Verify that it opens by coming down and placing the roof ramp like shown in the beginning of the video. And there you go. The bunker is openable and sealable. The last thing to do with the bunker mechanism is just to close it in. We do so by upgrading this tile to sheet metal, the foundation to sheet metal, and creating a single sheet metal honeycombing here. Make sure that when you close it off, you target the right wall like this. In the fringe cases where the raider knows the best possible way to raid the base, they could potentially save a few rockets unless you make one of the 2 following upgrades. Either upgrade this triangle to high quality metal, or replace this single door with an armored door when it becomes available. Which of these 2 upgrades you use is up to you, and you don't need both of them. Now we can finish off the build by constructing the entire rest of the base and outfitting it. Start by placing sheet metal honeycombing around every face of the base except the airlock. This is what it should look like from above. Then fill everything out with the walls and cap them off. On the top floor, we also need to place stone honeycombing on each side of the entrance, just on this triangle here and the one on the other side. If you feel like it, you could place stone honeycombing on the rest of the triangles on the second floor, but it won't change the raid cost unless you also upgrade the ceiling to HQM, which would get pretty expensive. When you're ready to enclose the second floor, this sheet metal door should become a garage door. Then wall in the entire 2x1 space like so. Ceilings on top, and all of it should be sheet metal eventually. Every single socket on the second floor should have a garage door in it eventually. This is important for the door raid cost. Finish off the enclosure by placing the rest of the roof tiles. Before we outfit our second floor and expand onto the roof, we should enclose our bunker mechanism so that we can safely open and close the bunker without leaving our base. Let's do so now, starting at the airlock. Place a half-height foundation in front of the bunker mechanism. On each side of the lowered foundation, place window frames, and a single door frame goes on top of the raised one. Place a wall on either side on the second floor, and then place a window frame above the single door. A half shelf goes here to create the jump up to the third floor. Full walls go on each side of the elevator, and then another half shelf completes it on the roof. Every window frame gets a glass window inside of it, and then you can close off the airlock with a single door coming out of the front. Up to 3 furnaces can fit in this space without preventing you from opening the bunker with the roof ramp, but you could try other deployables as well. Whenever you decide you want to place something in this space, cap it off like so. In most cases, the airlock foundation right now will be too high to jump up. Place lowered twig foundations like so, and then wooden stairs leading down them on each side. Then you can demolish the foundations that were holding them up. Whenever you get a tier 3 workbench, toss it down here in the same spot as a tier 2 workbench and then replace a locker. A small box can go underneath both of those benches as well, obviously. The final step before outfitting the second floor is to just come to this wall here, outside, and create another half shelf build up so that we can place a triangle for extra loot storage inside. then demolish the buildup. Right, so now let's outfit the second floor. Start by facing the bunker jump down and placing these 2 barbecues just over the lip of the half shelf, both facing the same direction. If placed correctly, 2 small boxes should fit neatly underneath. Turn around, and then we can place our research table. You want it to be as far to the back and as far to the right as possible. This large box can fit underneath, which you want to go all the way to the right with. Another large box can fit flush up against the wall like this. It will have a slight gap just because the wall frame is stone. If you don't want that, you could upgrade it to sheet metal. A barbecue facing this direction should be touching the back wall, and a small box can go underneath it. Coming up to the stone shelf, face the back wall and place a box like this. Then another one at a 90-degree angle. Repeat the exact same process up top. Small boxes can squeeze up against both of the large boxes, both on the bottom and the top. Another barbecue and small box combo can squeeze into this space as well. And then you can slap 2 sleeping bags down wherever you want, along with a campfire. A locker can be placed in the triangle space leading out to the airlock here as well. And then we can move on to the jump up that leads to the roof. Here the layout is fairly simple. A repair bench in the middle with 2 small boxes underneath of it. And then after that, we're going to place a barbecue on each side next to us with a small box underneath of that as well. Oh yeah, don't forget to place your shotgun traps. With the interior complete, the only thing left to do is build out the roof. Inside of the jump up, you can place a shotgun trap. It isn't the most effective. Even better here would be an auto turret, but that requires that you get a medium battery squeezed in somewhere in the base. It's not impossible, but you will have to sacrifice some storage. Follow your way around the inside portion of the 2x1 and the front 3 triangles like so, with roof tiles. If you want the gaps all the way around like shown in the beginning of the video, 2 of these side roof tiles here need to be wood or sheet metal so that they're not the same grade as the other tiles, which will deactivate the conditional model like so. And make sure these tiles end up sheet as well. And that pretty much makes up the base. I want to give a massive thank you to everyone who showed their support and assisted in the construction of this base on stream. You guys are amazing, and I've loved every moment going live for the team. Special thanks to Toasteii as well for helping with the cinematics. And finally, a shout out to you guys, my YouTube subscribers. I'm so proud of how far we've come in such a small amount of time. So give yourself a pat on the back. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.